So welcome back to this part 3, and in this part what we're looking at is a continuation of parts 1 and 2, and we're looking at the simple network management protocol. So what we have over on the bottom here is a Observium application, and that will receive the SNMP information from the user switch coming through the firewall, coming through the switch here and over to the monitoring station, and the same again with this switch here, layer 3 switch, and I've got another switch here which also ties in to the monitoring station here. I've got a router over here which is then again going through. So the idea with this is I've got some idea of what's happening on the network without having to log into each one of these stations, and it's quite an old sort of protocol, is the simple network management protocol. It's version 2. They do a version 3. I've tried version 3. I've had problems getting my switches and routers to sort of communicate with the monitoring station over here, and so I've kind of given that a bit of a miss really. Can't get it to work properly, so I'm wanting to move on with this lab that I'm doing, so I'm going to leave that perhaps to another day and possibly bring in some different switch or router that can cope with the version 3. So that's the kind of the setup that I wanted to run through in this session, and if I can just now go over to the Palo Alto configuration, and I'll talk about the Observium application as well. So over on the Observium here, this is the website if you need the to kind of do this in your own lab. What you can do is go to the observium.org, go to the documentation. I've tried the CentOS, that didn't work for me, but I tried the Ubuntu installation, and I found that works fine. So install the Ubuntu as a server or as a desktop, and you may need to get the wget by apt install wget. Then you can download this script and run it, and it all works fine. So then you get the Observium set up like this on a Ubuntu. And so what you can do is sort of go to the dashboard here, and that gives you a rundown of what applications you've got, sort of what devices you've got installed. And so from the dashboard here you can go to the devices section, and if I go to the users layer 3 switch here, okay, so you start to get some pretty graphs, and it's really good just to have a the idea is just it tells you what's happening with that device, and you don't have to go to it really, and it gives you lots of other things. So that's really the setup of the what I wanted to show you. So let's get into the sort of setting up the Palo sort of situation here. And so what you need to do is go to device. First thing is go to the device, go to the simple network management protocol trap, and you can set up a version 2 section here. For the version 2, you can have version 3, swap it over to there, but you've got to put some more stuff in. So this is all about version 2, and I've got a name, Observium. The manager is the IP address, and the community string is kind of like the password, which is Palo Alto. So that's what I've got set up, and I'll show you that on the Observium. Let's get that up. So if I go to the dashboard, Okay, let's go to devices. Palo Alto is here. Okay, let's get that going. So from here it gives you lots of good information on what's happening with the processors, stuff like that. It picks up some IP addresses. If you go to properties, and then go to simple network management protocol. So this is the community string, Palo Alto version 2. It automatically selects the right port number for you, and that's how you set that up to get the information. So let's go back over to the Palo Alto now. So that's one thing that you need to set up. I'll put all this in on the website, so you can go and just have a look and see when you're doing it yourself, and you can get the right config in the right places. So let's have a look at the another few things which you're going to need. You're going to need device setup, and then you want operations, and you want the simple network management protocol setup. Okay, sorry, here it is, simple network management protocol setup. So here you've got a you can call it anything you want, really, any location, and I'm not sure why you have to put that in again, the password there. So that's another something that you've got to have set up. Another thing you've got to have is the logging, which is in device and log settings, and you've got to have a log settings set up. So this is in the system bit, so I'll click that for you. And in this, you've got to have a in the network management protocol. What you do is you select the profile that you set up there. So here you've got the profile. If you need to set one up from there, you can do, but also you can just move to the one you've already set up there. So that's another thing you've got to have set up. And then another thing you've got to have set up is the allowing the traffic to go through the interface. So it's network management setup there. So you need network interface management. So interface management down there, and you need to add one to there. So this is the one that I've got set up here. So this is ping and allowing SNMP, and you can lock it down to a range of IPs there if you want to. So I'll screenshot that for you as well. And lastly, near to the last, is okay, another thing you need to have on is interfaces, and you need to have the interface management needs to have a management profile which you set up earlier. So if you go into the, let's have a look at ETH1/2, slow ETH1/2, and it's in the advanced section. Okay, so here is the management profile that we've already got set up there. So that's another thing that you need to have in there. So lastly, what you need to do is also have the a policy to allow that traffic to pass through the different areas. So here I've set one up for simple network management protocol traffic, and the source is the different zones, and the destination is all the different zones, and the application, I've got their ping, but I've also got the SNMP base and version 2 you need, and also I've dropped in the SNMP traps as well. Not sure whether that's needed, but just thought it would be a catch-all kind of if we need to. Don't really need version 3, not using that right now, so that's another kind of just identify that as an application. So that's about it on the Palo, and I'll get all these screenshots for you so that you can set this up yourself and run through the kind of if you wanted to set this up on your lab as well. So that's about Observium, collecting the information via Simple Network Management Protocol version 2, and gives you just a some visibility on what's happening in your network. And as we move forward, we'll be probably doing some different collection devices and working on improving the lab as we go forward. So another thing that I just want to give you a screenshot of is the router and what's that set up. So this is the user switch 2, which is over here, and you need to set up the community string, and this is read write, but you could do read only RO, and you could set up the location and the chassis ID. These sort of come through to the Observium application as well, so you can set up some information to go through, and I've set up a host here, which is the Cisco sort of identifies which IP address to go to, and so I'll pop this in the screenshot and put that down for you as well. So thanks for coming and having a look at the what I'm doing here. I'll make sure everything gets all on the website for you, and perhaps a bit more descriptions if you do need to sort of have a go at this kind of thing yourself. So thanks for calling and dropping by, and if you can give me a thumbs up and supporting what I'm doing here. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you next time.